Good morning. My name is Kevin Smith. I'm the Assistant Director of Planning and Development Services, and we're excited to be talking this morning about the upcoming 2023 Neighborhood Summit. It's going to be held this Friday and Saturday at the Ann Zabel Studio at the Orpheum Theater located at 315 North Phillips. And the overall purpose of the Neighborhood Summit is to really empower and engage our residents in the various neighborhoods throughout the community, bring them together along with city staff, other local leaders, and really listen to the challenges and maybe come up with some opportunities. We do have two sessions. The first one, Friday night, is being facilitated and led by Jim Deers. And Jim has been in Sioux Falls before. He is a national and I'd say international expert on neighborhoods. And he will share some of his thoughts, ideas, and stories of work he has done in other neighborhoods throughout the country. And that's from 5:30 to 7 on Friday night. Later on Saturday morning from 7:15 to 1 p.m., Jim is also going to facilitate a series of workshops. Broadly based, we are going to be talking about topics like building community and using community-driven placemaking as a theme for our neighborhoods, along with creating a vision and action plans for those individual neighborhoods who attend. So Friday night, listen to Jim speak for an hour and a half and hear his stories about where else he has worked. And Jim has been in Sioux Falls before, so it'll be fun to see how his perspective has changed since the last time he was here. Saturday morning, again, those are the hands-on workshops, and there will be city staff in attendance, but we really want to see residents, neighborhood associations, interested folks from throughout the community attend both events and really be part of the change that we need to see within our community. This is an event that's been held not annually. I think the first one was a little over 10 years ago. Our last one was in 2019. We took a little break because of some challenges getting people together over the last couple of years in large groups, but we're excited to have it re-engaged, and we'll have refreshments Saturday morning for anyone who plans to attend the workshops. We do have an online registration portal that you can go to through the city's website at siouxfalls.org. The reason that we've got the online registration is really we're trying to plan around the food and beverage needs, so we kind of right size everything that we're going to have for refreshments on Saturday morning. And just globally speaking, the value in neighborhood summits, the value in bringing together residents within the community is to really encourage them to collaborate and share stories amongst themselves that will facilitate it, will be there as resources, and certainly the city of Sioux Falls has a role to play in working with and assisting neighborhoods to become stronger. But we really truly believe that it begins at the grassroots level. So again, we're hopeful that we'll get a lot of participation from individual residents, from the neighborhood associations, and we've got about 12-ish active neighborhood associations throughout the community. They know who they are, and some of them are very strong and very outspoken, and they've got individual challenges. It will be fun for us to hear how those different neighborhood associations interact with each other, sharing stories, sharing what has worked and what hasn't. And our opportunity as the city of Sioux Falls to provide direct value to those neighborhood associations is sometimes through our neighborhood grant program. Annually, we have $50,000 available, and we solicit proposals from neighborhood associations for specific projects, and we have funded everything from art to signage to traffic calming to tree plantings. And again, that's our contribution. Greater contribution, though, is the individual efforts from those communities or those neighborhoods. So again, this Friday and Saturday, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Friday night, Saturday morning, 7:15 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Ann Zabel Studio at the Orpheum Theater. The event is open to the public and it's free, so we really hope people come out and share their ideas and take the opportunity to coordinate and collaborate with their neighbors. Any questions?
The neighborhood associations have historically been a core city process, also how do you encourage that sort of collaboration and really involving opposed to new neighborhoods, suburban associations? Is that happening?
So traditionally, yes, I would say the neighborhood associations, the stronger, older ones, are formed around the core of Sioux Falls. As you mentioned, neighborhoods like Pettigrew, Whittier, All Saints, on and on. We do encourage other neighborhoods to consider forming their own groups as well, and some have in the outer fringes of the community. But it is challenging, and I'll be the first to admit that it's difficult to bring people together, especially when you're trying to bring them together for something very positive. It's easy sometimes to come out and band together if there is a problem. But what we encourage neighborhoods to do is to have those conversations, and maybe it starts with a neighborhood block party because we all drive into our 3-stall garage and we don't see each other because we're busy running to and from children's activities and our own activities, and we don't take the time to walk down the streets because we're not as connected as we once were. So the challenge is also the opportunity with some of the newer neighborhoods is that you do need to get to know your neighbors, and whether that's through tangentially maybe forming a neighborhood watch group and looking out for each other and just getting to know, some common interests that you and your neighbors might have, and some challenges. If you specifically have a challenge, maybe your neighbors do too. Maybe there's an opportunity to work with the city on some solution. And in some of those cases, it's been tree plantings or other things that are not all that difficult to accomplish, but it really does take that level of commitment. So, the city can do a lot with the resources we have, but we also need to have the right solutions to the right challenges. And our intent is not to go into neighborhoods and offer solutions for problems that don't exist. But we also need to know from those neighborhoods what challenges they do have so we can work collaboratively on solutions. But, back to your original question, Patrick, we know how busy people are with families, with other commitments. Don't be so busy that you ignore the fabric of your own neighborhood, because that is so important for I think the overall health of Sioux Falls. And it is what makes the neighbor associations we have so successful, is they spend a lot of time looking out for each other, and we hear from them. If there's a challenge, Diane DeCoyer and others from our office spend an awful lot of time helping find solutions. Any other questions? Yeah. If anyone is interested in forming a neighborhood association or a neighborhood watch group or something neighborhood related, contact Diane DeCoyer in the planning office, and she can get you started and answer questions that you might have. Or you could show up at one of the sessions Friday or Saturday too. Shameless plug. Anything else? If not, I will turn it over to Parks and Recreation.
Hello, I'm Brian Peterson. I'm the Urban Forestry Specialist with the City of Sioux Falls. As the snow completely melts from our neighborhoods and the temperatures warm up, we're finally jumping into spring. It's time property owners start thinking about their yards and making their trees and bushes, making sure that they're in compliance. Every homeowner has a responsibility in their neighborhoods to keep up with maintenance on their property. This includes overhanging branches into the street and sidewalk. Project Trim is a long-standing program here with the City of Sioux Falls that we started here in the Forestry Division. It helps us hold homeowners accountable to keep their neighborhoods safe and beautiful. Those who have tree branches that overhang in the street or sidewalk have already been notified through a letter that they need to have a licensed arborist or themselves trim those branches to bring those trees back into compliance. We hope today serves as a reminder for those residents that they need to get this done before Memorial Day. That's because we can't run the risk of moving ash material between Memorial Day and Labor Day. As a city, we've done quite a bit of work to slow the spread of emerald ash borer since it was identified within this community in 2018. Many residents in the southwest quadrant of the city have already noticed stumps in their boulevard or parking strip area. Those were ash trees that were not being treated for emerald ash borer, that were preemptively removed by city department or city contractors. We are working diligently to remove those stumps as quickly as we can, but we have currently 1,300 of them out on the boulevard to remove. And I thank you in advance for your continued patience through this process. Now that the weather is cooperating, our forestry crews are working on it. We hope to have contractors also helping out to speed up this process of stump removals. When these stumps are removed, we push the grinding material back into the hole and we haul off the excess debris. We leave the site flush with the ground level. This is to avoid any trip hazards in your boulevard or parking strip area. After that, it is up to the homeowner to prep the site for grass and replant seed. We wouldn't recommend planting another tree in the exact location that the stump was removed. Instead, reach out to forestry and get a planting permit. When you apply for a planting permit in the right-of-way or boulevard, you can also receive a $50 cost share voucher, good for each approved tree in that location. Through this permit, we will help you pick the right tree for the right place. And if you want to see these trees and quality specimens of these trees ahead of time before you plant, we recommend visiting the Mary Jo Wagner Arboretum. They have many of the species we recommend on our approved planting list that are currently growing on site. When the emerald ash borer was found in Sioux Falls, about 40% of our street trees were ash. We now need to take this opportunity to diversify our urban forest. This supports the health of our environment while creating a beautiful space for residents to thrive in. One of our goals as the Forestry Division is to educate and assist residents when it comes to tree care in our community for generations to come. If you're interested in getting involved and helping make these investments in your community, we have a couple of tree planting days coming up this month. The goal is to plant 500 trees in our community. If you're interested in volunteering or helping out, you can sign up at thehelplineCenter.org/trees. You can also find out more about our forestry department at siouxfalls.org/forestry. Thank you for coming today and learning more about our forestry department. At this time, I will take any questions you might have.
How many more trees, ash trees, are there in the program to sort of get rid of them throughout the city?
So currently, along our city streets, there is approximately 13,000 ash trees left on city streets. Of those ash trees, roughly half of them are currently being treated by the abutting property owner. So that would only leave 7,000 roughly to be removed on city contracts. Our park system, we've also been diligently removing ash trees from our park system and replacing those trees. We have roughly 400 ash trees left in our park system as well.
And when will people start seeing the spray paint on their trees this year if there's a mark for
Okay.
physically taken down?
So trees that are slated for removal in 2023 are currently marked for removal. Those trees have a blue number 3 spray painted on the street facing side of the tree. Our next selection of ash tree removals will be in process, and we always reach out to budding homeowners about 6 months in advance before removing trees, and we typically mark trees for removal for the prior year month of August. And those trees will be marked with a blue number 4, corresponding for 2024.
Since you were way back in the training program, that process, you have to have done, explain that again, so you get the letter, you have to turn it into within 10 feet of the sidewalk over the street.
Yep. So with Project Trim, it is 12 feet over arterial streets. It is 10 feet clearance over the sidewalk and 16 feet over collector streets. And if you're like me, I don't always know what is a collector street within the city of Sioux Falls. So this year we've created an interactive map on our website that homeowners can visit. They can search their property address, and it highlights where those collector and arterial streets are located at.
One section, goes section to section.
Yes, it goes section by section. Currently this year we are in the northwest section of town with Project Trim. Well, we recommend homeowners to trim the trees either themselves or to hire an arborist company to trim the trees. We always coordinate with property owners in advance. If it comes to something of knowledge for trimming the trees, we will gladly help that homeowner and educate them on that process.